Welcome to Energy Linguist, a sacred space for awakening souls ready to learn how language shapes consciousness and discover what energy has been speaking all along. I am Laura Ahern, the Energy Linguist, a spiritual channel and the founder of Linguistic Consciousness Studies. In this podcast, I share divine transmissions and teach you to decode the language shaping your consciousness so that you can heighten your intuition, claim your calling, and learn to create consciously instead of unconsciously. Take a breath. This is where unconscious creation becomes creative mastery. Welcome to the Energy Linguist podcast. I am your host, Laura Ahern, the Energy Linguist, and I'm so glad you're here with me today because I want to explore with you in this episode something that came through in a transmission this week that has the potential to finally release whatever brake you've been stepping on in your life and allow you to finally put your foot on the gas to move into the life that your soul is seeking. I want to begin by asking you something. Is there an area of your life, a relationship, a creative dream, maybe a version of yourself that you have been circling, that you've been approaching and retreating from, and then returning to again and again? And you're not retreating because you don't want it, but because there's something in you that keeps saying, not yet. Wait until it feels safer. Wait until you know more, until you're more ready. Wait until you can predict how it goes. I want you to hold that awareness, because what I'm about to share with you is going to explain something that most people never become fully aware of. And once you hear it, it will change everything about how your inner world starts to work when you consider moving forward in your life. This week, what divinity opened up for me in a transmission was a question. And the question is, what permission are you waiting for to start living your life? Now, I know it might sound simple on the surface. We've heard versions of this message before. The stop waiting for permission. You are enough. Go live your life. And though those things are true and important, what's being unveiled in the vibrational core of this inquiry is more profound. And it is this: the reason that we are not fully living, the reason that we are in the waiting, is not because we lack motivation or effort. It's not because we don't believe in ourselves enough. It's because somewhere in our wiring, in the deep unconscious architecture of our human system, we have decided that it is not safe for us to live yet. And until we feel safe, we will not grant ourselves permission to begin. Now, here is what I want you to understand before we go any further. This is not a mindset problem. It is not something you can think your way out of. Because the part of you that is running this pattern isn't making a conscious choice. It's simply doing its job. Inside what I teach as the conduit of the mind, we explore the intricate web of energies that make up your field, the living architecture through which your consciousness shapes everything that you experience as real. And one of the most powerful lenses we have for understanding that field, for understanding ourselves, is the ancient wisdom of the chakra system. It has mapped human consciousness for thousands of years. And right now, 2 of those energy centers are working together in a pattern that is being revealed to us. The first energy center is your root chakra. Your root center is your primal survival intelligence. It is the seat of your evolutionary wiring. The part of you that has been asking, is it safe? Since before you even took your first breath. It scans the terrain. It is vigilant. It reads for threats. And it wants to know with certainty that the ground beneath you is solid before it allows you to step forward. And we have to honor that. That intelligence has kept the human species alive across millennia. But here is what the root center does not know how to do. It does not know how to step forward or leap and trust that we will be caught before we are certain of it. And it does not know the difference between a genuine external threat to your physical survival or the internal discomfort of stepping into the unknown of you, of becoming who you were actually meant to be. To your root, both feel the same. Starting a business, leaving a relationship, saying yes to the calling, or even showing up fully as who you are, all of that registers as risk. And it all triggers that same ancient signal to wait, to make sure it's safe, to not move yet. This is when the second energy center steps in, your solar plexus. Your center of personal power, self-trust, identity, and discernment. And in this revelation, what divinity is showing us is that this energy and these fields are communicating to say, wait, because I can't handle this. Am I capable enough? What if I make the wrong call? What if I fail? What does my past say about me? And it seeks for the justification to stay put. All of this inner language, this dialogue of our energy centers, provides all sorts of rational and reasonable justifications that soothe us into submission and convinces us to stay put. And here is where so many of us live, right here in this loop. The root asking, is it safe? And the solar plexus asking, can I trust myself? And the root asks again, and the solar plexus responds again. And they're in dialogue with one another, and nothing moves. It's like witnessing two people who stay in dialogue with one another because they know the other person will tell them what they want to hear. Though this might feel comfortable on some level, it is that very comfort that will steal our lives from us, that will prevent us from growing and evolving. It is important that we challenge this comfort with opposing energies. The lack of opposing energies in this revelation is the exact reason why this loop never resolves. Both of these energy centers are dominantly yang in their expression. They are the masculine vibration, the outward reaching, analytical, calculating force. They assess, they project, they measure conditions against outcomes. Yang energy is built to ask questions outward. But here's the thing. The yang energy alone cannot actually give you what the yang is looking for. You cannot calculate your way into safety. You cannot think your way into self-trust. The intellect alone cannot open this passage. And this is why you can try to convince yourself. You can sit with yourself in a journal and completely agree on every cognitive level that it is time to start living. And still, nothing moves. Because the knowing intellectually isn't enough to integrate it into the body where it can finally move. What has been compressed in this equation, in this revelation that Spirit is giving us, is our sacral field. Your sacral energy is the yin balance to the yang overdrive of root and solar plexus. It is the feminine principle in your energy body. It does not calculate. It receives. It does not project outward. It draws in. And it does not ask, will I be safe? It asks, what wants to move through me right now? What life wants to be brought into creation through me right now? The sacral holds your capacity for flow, for vulnerability, for joy in the unexpected, for beginning without knowing how it ends. And these are not soft extras in life. These are the exact capacities that living fully requires. And the exact energies that this awakening period is bringing into the front fold so that we can evolve and expand into our highest potential. In short, the root and solar plexus energies that yearn to predict, to control, to know, they're working in overdrive. And where those energies seek to overexert themselves, to overstretch and reach, the sacral field that exists between them, the field that holds your capacity for flow, for vulnerability, for joy in the unexpected, begins to compress, to shrink. I see this in the collective field right now, especially because we are feeling the surge of the energies that are seeking to awaken us. I see more analysis, more prediction attempts, more control seeking. I even see spiritual people falling into spiritual codependency on other intuitives because they want that intuitive to use their psychic capacities to assure them of the future, to tell them the answer so that they can feel relief in the moving forward. All sorts of people are trying to feel safe before choosing to live. And the more that this yang energy overreaches, the more that the sacral compresses, it begins to steal our very joy from our lives. The compression of the sacral energies means that the very capacities that are needed in order to receive the life you want to live, your joy, your playfulness, the ability to be vulnerably and safely you, those are the ones being silenced. So I want to anchor this message and this revelation for you by touching on the etymology, the vibrational meaning that of the word permission. Because my hope for you is in hearing these messages today, you will be willing to grant yourself permission to move forward in trust, even when you do not know what's next in your life. The word permission comes from the Latin roots, and it's two parts. Permittere, the per meaning through, the mittere meaning to send, to let go, to release. It carries a vibration to send through, to let pass. And at its most ancient root vibration, even further back to the Proto-Indo-European, permission traces to the word smet, which means to throw, to release your grip. And this is what I want you to hear and feel. Permission, at its vibrational core, at its very roots, is not a decision. Though it can be a choice in some ways, it is not a decision. Permission is a reception. It is a willingness to receive. It is not something you force yourself to make. It is something that moves through you when you are open enough to receive it. The choice element that exists in it is about choosing to be willing and open to the receiving, which is extraordinarily uncomfortable for most humans. You have been trying to grant yourself permission from the yang energy centers, from the root that wants to feel safe first, from the solar plexus that wants to be certain first. But permission cannot live there. It can only be received in the yin, in the softening, in the opening, in the willingness to say, I don't know how this goes, and I am moving anyway. Not because I have calculated my safety, but because I have chosen to trust and receive the life that is trying to move through me. And so today, I want to leave you with this. Not to analyze, not to fix, just to feel. Inquire with yourself. Where in your life have you been attempting to give yourself intellectual permission and your body still hasn't received it? that gap between what the mind has decided and what the body has actually taken in, that is the conversion point. It's the awareness that most people never get to have. And it begins not in new strategy, not in trying harder to trust yourself, but instead, it begins in the willingness to soften, to stop reaching outward for certainty that will never fully come, and to instead ask quietly from within yourself, what wants to move through me? What wants to come to life through me? To be experienced through me? Let that inquiry do its work. Give it space. Because somewhere beneath all of the waiting, beneath all of the over-analyzing, beneath the wiring, and every time you talked yourself out of beginning, your intuitive yin sacral center already knows. It has been in the knowing. It has been waiting for the rest of you to release so that you can receive the trust of the divine. If you are feeling the call to go deeper into this work of linguistic consciousness and understand how to read energy and intuitive messages, to come into the understanding of the energetic architecture of how you're creating your life so that you can begin recoding it from the inside out, I invite you to explore The Rise. You can visit lauraahern.com for more information. It has been a deep honor to be here with you today. And until we meet again, trust what you feel, honor what moves, and remember, the life that's waiting on you has always been waiting from within you. It is already yours. I'm sending you so much love. Namaste. Thank you for receiving these messages with an open heart. If you're ready to trust your intuition, read the energy speaking through your life, and claim the calling waiting for you, it's time to begin with The Rise. Through The Rise, you can become trained in Honorea Reiki, the first sovereign woman-channeled Reiki lineage in history, and receive a full year of healing, mentorship, and community. Visit lauraahern.com/rise to find out more. Everything you need to know is already speaking to you, and I can teach you to translate it. Until next time, trust what you feel, honor what you know, and watch your language. It's creating everything.